The Owl House is a show that I was eagerly looking forward to watching as the trailers kept on airing. And I did get my hopes up a little high, but I still enjoyed what we got out of it. At the time of making this video, Season 2 is right around the corner. Honestly, I gotta say my favorite character in this series is definitely Willow. Yeah, I know Amity is a really popular character, and don't get me wrong, I love Amity. She's a close second favorite, but jeez, it seems like everyone loves Amity. I'll talk about that more next week, but for now, I wanted to review my favorite episode of Season 1. I know a lot of people say that Enchanting Gromfright is their favorite episode, and don't get me wrong, I love that episode too, but I personally like this episode better for multiple reasons. This is Understanding Willow. Quick disclaimer before we begin, I know that episodes 1 and 2 of the second season have recently been screened with VIP tickets that I unfortunately did not get because I am broke, and I haven't decided if I want to watch leaks posted on social media or just wait until the official release dates. This is Future Hacky butting in to say that I have watched the episodes through social media leaks, but only because I didn't want to have to spend 2 weeks dodging spoilers, okay? The important thing is that at the time of me making this video, I've not seen the first 2 episodes of the second season. Yes, I have. So if there's anything in either of the 2 episodes that can be tied back to this one, there's not. Please do not leave spoilers in the comments. And of course, the obligatory spoiler warning. If you're all caught up on the Owl House or don't care if I spoil anything, then you may proceed. So this episode opens up at Hexside School of Magic and Demonics. Hexside for short. Amity is chilling with Basha when another member of Basha's posse, Skara, invites them to her birthday party. We see Basha passing judgment towards Luz and Willow, while Amity seems to be pretty passive during all this.
It's mine! Oh, kid fight!
Kid fight?
Kid fight!
This school has got to have some of the most unprofessional staff members. Can I get a job at Hexside? Anyway, Luz and Willow are talking about an upcoming photo class that they'll be attending. But first, Amity and the other girls pass by, and Skara asks Amity if she used to be friends with Willow back in the day. And yes, they were. This was confirmed earlier in the episode Whoosie's Moving Hassle, but it hasn't been expanded upon much since. Until now. Anyway, in this photo class, you could actually extract photos out of the memories right from people's heads. On the surface, that sounds awesome. I know I have some memories I probably want to copy in photo form, but there's actually some pretty dangerous consequences if the memory photos get damaged, so maybe it's for the better that I don't have access to that sort of magic. Luz and Willow take out some memories from Willow's head, including a memory of a young Willow and Amity having fun at a party. This does pique some interest in Luz about trying to mend their friendship, but Willow would rather leave that part of her life in the past. Which is honestly fair enough, and this shows that it's okay to not forgive people on a whim if they've wronged you like Amity has in the past. I'm not saying to hold grudges over every single person who wrongs you, but no one is able to make that choice except for you. It's your own decision and nobody else's. Then the bell screams for lunch. Yes, I said screams. And Amity and the posse pass by the photo classroom. Amity notices the photo of her and Willow, and she doesn't want people to see it. So she burns the photo. Amity, of all the things you could have done, hid the photo under something in the classroom, take it with you and put it in your pocket, dispose of it in the garbage bin. You decide to burn and damage it! And it doesn't get better as the flame spreads to all the photos. Yeah, Amity, maybe you should have disposed it in a different way, just saying. In the cafeteria, we see the effects of what damaging these photo memories can do to someone. Luz makes the connection between the photo memories, and they rush to the photo classroom to see what's going on. They find Amity trying to extinguish the flames.
Hi.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
So they all go back to the Owl House to see if Ida can do anything about this predicament.
Sleep spell.
Times like this, I wish I can perform magic. Ida reveals that there is a way to fix Willow, and that's to go into her mind and restore the memories.
Be still, my fantasy-loving heart. I have always wanted to do this. Thank you, Boiling Isles.
Okay, let's be real. Is there any animation or fantasy geek out there that can't relate to Luz? Because I know I can relate to her hardcore. Ida doesn't want to send Luz in there alone, so Luz asks Amity to help her out. Also, one thing that pops up frequently in this episode is hints that Amity might have feelings for Luz, and this was confirmed and expanded upon in the next 2 episodes, Enchanting Gromfright and Wing It Like Witches. This was the episode that made me hop aboard the Lumity ship, and it's ultimately what made me have the attitude of not shipping something right away unless the show itself decides to drop some hints. But yeah, Lumini is definitely one of my favorite LGBTQ plus ships in Western animation. Ida gives them a bell to ring to let her know when they're done fixing Willow's memories so she can bring them back out. She also tells them to look out for the inner Willow, aka the gatekeeper of all her memories and emotions, because she might be able to help them. And so off they go into Willow's mind. Willow's mind is structured as a forest with the memories being picture frames in the trees. Luz and Amity discover that they can go inside the frame memories, and they go into one of a young Willow and Amity at Lake Lacuna. Amity explains how she and Willow were trying to play hooky from one of their swimming lessons and hang out in their fort on the beach. Amity fixes the fort, which just so happens to fix the memories, and we see how Willow wasn't so good at magic back then. One thing that's not mentioned in this episode is Willow's vine magic. Willow seems to have a natural talent for plant magic, and so she was moved from the Abomination track at Hexside to the plant magic track. Here we see it hammered in that Willow wasn't very good at magic back then, while Amity and most likely other kids her age were able to decently perform magic. So where did this sudden burst of plant magic from Willow come from? It's really interesting to think about, and I wish it was tackled more often. Luz is about to walk into the memory of young Willow and Amity at the birthday party, aka the one that Willow and Amity tried to hide from everyone. It hints at the fact that this isn't a great memory, so Amity suggests all the other memories instead. Oh yeah, by the way, while all this is going on, Gus is testing Ida and King to see who he would rather interview. I don't really think it's that important to the plot aside from one moment, and I'd rather wish this plot just didn't exist at all, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to be focusing primarily on the plot with Luz, Willow, and Amity from the rest of this review. Next we get a short montage of Luz and Amity fixing all the memories. In these memories, it's clear that Willow and Amity were really good friends when they were younger. After fixing a few more memories, Amity expresses her guilt for ruining all the memories. And yeah, it's clear that Amity messed up big time, but really at the end of the day, what matters is learning from your mistakes and making efforts to better yourself. And then we get more blushing from Amity. Kinda perfect timing that I'm posting this video in Pride Month. Luz asks Amity why she's avoiding one of the memories, and Amity spots a fire monster behind Luz. Although Luz thinks she's just trying to get out of answering. So they fix a memory full of eggs for some reason. Sure, let's just roll with it. They've ended up fixing all of the memories except for one, the memory of Willow and Amity at the party. Amity starts to get defensive about fixing the memories.
All you're doing is prying into your friends' lives. Well, did you ever think maybe it's none of your business?
Well, Little Miss Perfect, considering that Luz is the one helping you fix the mind that you burned, it is her business. But then they smell smoke and realize that Willow's mind is completely on fire. We then see the fire beast that Amity saw earlier. It begins to burn the memories back up again. But not all the memories, just the ones of Amity. Then the fire beast sees Amity's herself, and it's out for blood. Luz concocts a plan to stop the beast, and it's successful. Then we see the fire beast was the inner Willow this whole time, and she is pissed.
This girl is on fire!
She takes Luz and Amity into the memory they've both been avoiding, and we finally get to see what happened. From Willow's perspective, Amity took Willow aside and told her she didn't want to be her friend anymore because she was weak and told Willow to get lost. This is what ultimately ended their friendship. But Amity reveals there's more to the story. And after all the build-up to them over the course of the season, we finally get to see the silhouettes of Mr. and Mrs. Blight, aka Amity's parents. They're the one who told Amity to cut ties with Willow or else they would. So Willow cut ties with Amity so Willow can learn magic at Hexside. Can I just take a second to compliment the background music of this episode? It's probably some of the best and most well thought out background music I've ever seen. Or heard, in this case. I love the use of xylophones and music box sounds. It really gives a childlike feel to the memories, and they're both used in different scenes and can fit the moods of the scenes they're in really well. Whether it be happy and sweet, sad and hurtful, or ominous and creepy. Words cannot describe how much I love this scene. The amount of build-up over the season to be paid off here, not just with Amity and Willow, but also with the long-awaited reveal of Mr. and Mrs. Blight. And the fact that we're given confirmation of all the info we've had over the series run, this is the first real glimpse we get to how horrible Amity's parents are. The background music, once again. The first bit with Amity cutting ties with Willow and how the music is more soft but still sad. And then the second bit with the Blight parents and their higher-pitched xylophone noises perfectly set the mood of traumatic and fearful childhood memories. And another thing I love about this scene is the visuals. The visuals of a young Amity and Willow showing their emotions from in that moment, fading out from in front of them to show their current emotions now after all this time. And the dark shadows of the Blight parents looming over a young Amity in a small space of light surrounded by nothing but darkness. Showing the dark and threatening nature of the Blight parents looming over the young and innocent Amity, who would soon be molded into fitting their own messed up perfect image. Amity then apologizes to Willow and tells her one line that has stuck with me for quite a long time.
Willow, you were never too weak to be my friend. I was too weak to be yours.
Whether you take the word weak as a physical context or emotional context, this one line is so meaningful. Young Amity was scared of her parents' power over her and the possibilities of what they might do. In that moment, she felt weak. And Amity, now stronger than she was before, physically and emotionally, fully admits fault and apologizes sincerely. Once again, the background music is amazing again. The shift from childlike xylophone music to more mature piano music and the mood of hopefulness really shines through here. Inner Willow ultimately agrees to keep both the good and the bad memories of Amity, and instead of pretend the problems don't exist, acknowledge what happened and move on from what happened in a better way. All the memories are fixed, and we see a happy present Inner Willow and past Inner Willow in the bright and healthy nature of her mind, and once again, the amazing background music reflects this. And so, with all the memories in place, Luz and Amity call Ida to have them get sent back, and Ida actually hears them this time. Willow is back to her normal and adorable self! As Willow and Luz hugs, Amity leaves feeling like she doesn't belong here, but before she's gone, Willow says that she remembers what went on in her mind. She doesn't think they're completely good, but she's willing to start mending the friendship. I really like how this plot is expanded out over the next few episodes. In the episode 2 weeks after this one, Wing It Like Witches, we see the girls on better terms, but not really buddy-buddy yet. Maybe we could get some more moments of them being friends in future episodes. So Amity leaves fully comfortable with letting go of her toxic friends, and Gus's interview with Hootie is not going as well as he thought. And that was Understanding Willow. This was a fantastic episode. So many elements previously hinted at throughout the series are brought up here, and the payoff goes above and beyond doing them justice. One more time, I cannot express enough how amazing the background music is. Whoever was the composer knew exactly what they were doing. And once again, the visuals are some of the most clever I've seen in any show. Everything just comes together so nicely, and even the episode leaves off on a not complete but hopeful note. I highly recommend this episode as well as The Owl House as a series. I definitely think this episode has more of a payoff if you're a regular viewer of the series, but even then, if you just want to watch this episode alone, I can comfortably say that you'll still have an amazing experience. And now that I'm done reviewing this episode, I realize that I completely forgot about the whole reason I wanted to review it in the first place. Looks like I'm not done with this show just yet. Stay tuned for next video. I can't make any promises anymore. That's all I want to say for now. See you, peeps!